Toast reviews will not be seen this week, so we can present this special presentation.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Gustav Contraire. Everything you fat Americans hate, I love. Everything you love, I hate. Who likes Twizzlers? I sure don't. You know what I love? I love me a square of Twizzlers. Oh, catch it in your fat American mouth. Go. Oh, you knees. Ah, ha, ha. You know what I hated? I hated the Star Trek movie. The new one. I mean, I hate all Star Trek, but that new one with the J.J. Abrams. I hated it so much. It was like a big ball full of poop. And more got pooping now than in the... I can't do this. This is stupid. Hang on a second. Okay. I can't do that. Like, maybe some people can do the whole, like, play character thing, but I don't know. I have a feeling that, like, it's just going to insulate people from their opinions, you know, that way you can say something as the character, even if the character is just, like, basically you when you're being filmed, and it just stops if people from saying, well, you made this really terrible joke, you made, and I think you all know what I mean by, like, offensive jokes, basically things that Family Guy does in, like, 60% of his episodes, and, you know, it's like, oh, I didn't make it just for the gag, you know, but I'm starting to wonder if you can have real honest opinions about movies when you can just, at any point, you just be like, oh, it's just a character, and just, you know, cut away. I don't know. Like, even this whole setup, like, I mean, the big white wall, and that makes me, like, rum reviews, or certain episodes of The Projector, or Pat Condell, or anyone else who just loves a big white wall. I'm glad the sun is picked up, though. Look how white that is. That's nice. But that's the problem. Like, you know, I want to just be honest. And if I wanted to make a show like this, it would be about the movies that I completely disagree with the general consensus on. But I don't want any of the flummery. But it can't just be me standing here for like a half an hour talking, because I'm not going to remember all that. You know, I could, in theory, if I memorized it for like 6 months, and sure. But obviously right now I'm completely improvising. I know what I'm supposed to talk about, but putting this a lot more in line with my toast reviews. And I like the toast reviews a lot. No one else does toast reviews. But it even is, one, it's supposed to be just me using my Netflix, which I haven't been able to do while I've been producing this video. And two, it's just supposed to be sort of silly and absurd. But, you know, I did buy, you know, a Canon T4i. You can't see it, obviously. I'm looking into it right now. To make that, and it is just like to make something that's just that almost nobody watches, you know. And I want to do this show, but then the problem comes up, is like, what do I show? It's a video format. I mean, the whole toast reviews was another one of those things where it's like, here, just show the toaster. What the hell, you know? But, so, I mean, do I show clips of the movie? Because if I do that on YouTube, you know, I get executed. So, I don't want to do that. And I get away with it on, like, Blip, but, you know, I had a show on Blip for a little while, but then, like, I wasn't getting anything out of making it, and they said, okay, we're putting ads on any video, which I'm sort of okay with in general, but I'm just like, you know, I haven't been able to make an audience for this thing, and the few people who I know who actually do watch Forthright, I'm not going to have them have to sit through an ad just because, you know, I picked this host. That's the reason I haven't put ads on the YouTube, because it's just not worth making the few people who watch my shows will sit through an advertisement. I am pro-ad, I am anti-ad block. If you block the ads, you guys suck. So, but, you know, what do I show? I don't want to show clips. I don't want to use, you know, a bunch of copyrighted images that people can put up and say, oh, this is slightly tangential to this one cartoon from the 80s, which would basically make me into, you know, Movie Bob, or Extra Credits, or Jimquisition, or any of these shows where they just cut away for a while and show all this other stuff. And Extra Credits has their own little art, and it's like, well, I'm not much of an artist. Well, I can draw, but I did that when I was doing Forthright, and it's like, you know what stinks nowadays? Trying to scan images, so it's just like, come on. And I'm much better drawing with a pencil in my actual hand than I am at my old-ass tablet, which This is from, it was like 2003 or something. My tablet is so old. I never changed the batteries in the pen. I don't know, like, if there's a battery in the pen, but it's worked for 10 years, so I don't know what the deal is. But it's not a tablet the way you think of it. It's a stylus, and it's just a thing you draw, and it appears on the monitor. And there's that disconnect between drawing down here and looking up there. So, what am I supposed to do? You know, I'm just like, what do I show? So there's no way for me to avoid just being on camera. Even though, like, for all these years, I've not been on camera just because I'm like, no, to hell with that. Unless I've had to be, or there was no way around it. Like, in my 2 lightsaber fights, or when I was participating at Desert Bus. I thought briefly about bringing a mask to Desert Bus, just so I could continue being anonymous, or then unveil or whatever. But I was not going to fly with a mask. That's just begging for trouble. So then it could be, well, how do I anonymize myself? You know, you see some people wearing masks. You see them wearing just different things. They cover part of their face. Or like in the shadows, they're just always in the shadows. But I was not able to come up with any new way to anonymize myself. So, and I'm just like, what do I do? Even now, it's like, I don't look the way I look in real life. I don't wear graphic tees. I'm just wearing one of my only black t-shirts because they'll stand out better against the white wall. I've brushed my hair before I did this. You know, normally I don't do that. So, what is there to do? Maybe, Gustav Contraire was not a real character. He was just a way to get me to be like, alright, get out there. Doesn't matter what you look like, just get out there. And now that you're more comfortable with it, now to just be just you. And I'm not saying I'll ever make another pilot like this ever again. But, so, tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow, you'll see the pilot episode of my currently unnamed show, about the movies that I have the large disagreement with of the general consensus. Because I think those are the only opinions really worth talking about. When everyone disagrees, it's like, oh, the room is so bad, whack, whack, whack. Like, just the other day, the Blockbuster Buster put up a thing about Son of the Mask. It's like, you're like the 5th guy to do this. And yeah, Son of the Mask is terrible. We all agree. Is there any more ground to strike about that? And it's not necessarily to be contrarian either. To just be like, let's find the things that are wrong with something good or whatever. Not that there can't be some fun or intellectual rigor in that. It's just the fact that it's like, no. When I saw some of these movies, I just legitimately didn't like them. Or I did like ones that most people didn't. There's my train of thought. I'm trying to do this in one old big take, just because I literally don't have the time to edit any of this stuff. We did one edit earlier, but the opinions that are not the general consensus are the ones that are worth talking about and discussing. And it's worth trying to do it in a way that is not incendiary or invective or any of these other bad things that cause people to just be, anything that I say in that voice, you can pretty much figure out what I mean. And then even, like, let's just say, oh, this is good, and this takes off. Then what do I have to look forward to? I could be, criticized for trying to kill a character that I've been doing for 4 years. And that's the thing that shocked me about that. We'll just bring up the Nostalgia Critic. I was saddened when I heard he was coming back, because I'm like, oh, man. And then he went out and released The Review Must Go On, which is the most shockingly solid, honest, probably the best piece of filmmaking he's ever done for that website. It's great. Go ahead and watch it. This is awesome. And that's just the thing. It's like occasionally an expectation like that will just turn you on your head. But even if I did become successful, I could, have a bunch of people griping at me because the ad block thing is doing something different, or because I didn't do something that everyone else has done, or you could get stalked by some deranged lunatic because you said one thing improper just because this guy doesn't have the right chemicals in his brain, or, just a huge cornucopia of things could happen when you put yourself out here like this. But God, I hated the new Star Trek. I gotta get this out of my system. You know, like, and I had to do it before Star Trek 2 came out. So I've been just rushing, trying to get this done, and I just had to get out of my system. So, tune in tomorrow for the premiere and pilot episode of my unnamed show where I disagree with everybody. Thank you all for watching. This is King Cool. Drive home safe. No one cared who I was till I put on the mask.